Archaeologists' discovery puts Buddha's birth 300 years earlier. British archaeologist Robin Coningham talks about a 3-year expedition to Nepal, which could rewrite history. When Professor Robin Coningham's youngest son Gus was 5, he was asked at school what his father did. "He works for the Buddha," said the boy. Which led to a bit of confusion, recalls Coningham. But it turns out Gus was not that far off the mark. Last week it emerged that a team led by Coningham, a professor of archaeology and pro-vice-chancellor at Durham University, had made a startling discovery about the date of the Buddha's birth, one that could rewrite the history of Buddhism. After a 3-year dig on the site of the Maya Devi temple at Lumbini in Nepal, Coningham and his team of 40 archaeologists discovered a tree shrine that predates all known Buddhist sites by at least 300 years. The impact of Coningham's work is groundbreaking in many ways. Prior to this discovery, it had been thought that the shrine at Lumbini, an important pilgrimage site for 500 million Buddhists worldwide, marked the birthplace of the Buddha in the 3rd century BC. But the timber structure revealed by archaeologists was radiocarbon dated to the 6th century BC.
"It has real significance,"
says Coningham, 47.
"What we have for the first time is something that puts a date on the beginning of the cult of Buddhism. That gives us a really clear social and economic context. It was a time of huge transition where traditional societies were being rocked by the emergence of cities, kings, coins and an emerging middle class. It was precisely at that time that Buddha was preaching renunciation, that wealth and belongings are not everything."
The early years of the religion took hold before the invention of writing. As a result, different oral traditions had different dates for the Buddha's birth. This is the first concrete evidence that Buddhism existed before the time of Asoka, an Indian emperor who enthusiastically embraced the religion in the 3rd century BC. Legend has it that the Buddha's mother, Maya Devi, was traveling from her husband's home to that of her parents. Midway in her journey, she stopped in Lumbini and gave birth to her son while holding onto the branch of a tree. The research team believe they have found evidence of a tree in the ancient shrine beneath a thick layer of bricks. According to Coningham, it became clear that the temple, 20 kilometers from the Indian border, had been built
directly on top of the brick structure, incorporating or enshrining it.
The site at Lumbini had been hidden under the jungle until it was excavated in 1896. Back then, it was identified as the Buddha's birthplace because of a sandstone pillar that bore an inscription documenting the visit of Asoka to the site. The earliest levels remained buried until now. After the filming of a documentary about the find for the National Geographic Channel, Coningham has been dubbed a real-life Indiana Jones, a description that elicits a polite rumble of laughter.
"I was one of those rather sad children who loved dinosaurs,"
he says.
"My grandparents used to go to Hunstanton in Norfolk and I would spend my summer holidays collecting fossils there. Then I discovered that a great way of escaping family holidays was to go on digs, so I started at the age of 15. Then I discovered you could dig abroad, so in my first year at university he studied archaeology and anthropology at King's College, Cambridge. I decided to specialize in the Indian subcontinent. That became my life. And if you spoke to my family, they'd say it's still my life."
His wife Paula, who teaches Greek to A-level students, and his 2 sons, Urban, 15, and Gus, 13, are used to his regular absences, despite that early confusion about exactly what his job entailed. For Coningham, the dig at Lumbini was memorable because it has marked
a deeply rare and exciting time when belief, archaeology, and science come together.
Does he have a personal faith?
"I was brought up a Catholic,"
he replies.
"I had a great aunt who was a Mother Superior, so my youth was full of washing feet, kissing crosses, etc. So in a way I suppose the experience of this dig has made me a great relativist. Also for me it shows we know so little about the early years of the world's great traditions.
But he says that the tenets of Buddhism hold a certain appeal.
At the moment, I'm balancing this job with the role of Pro-Vice-Chancellor. So I'm a bureaucrat and it's very tempting, at times, to think of renunciation.
He jokes.